A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Nisha Charles. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, Sherman Webb sentenced to life in prison. Guyana police killings prompt calls for inquiry. 14 killed, 50 injured in shootout during Batman screening in Denver. District Sports Festival moves to final stages this weekend. Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT Telecoms Ltd has obtained the exclusive rights to the 2012 Olympic Games held in the United Kingdom, and these games are the largest in history to date. The impact of these games will bring millions of viewers to the television screen. SAT Telecommunications is a supporter of the Olympics, and in extension, we support the sportsmen and the women of Dominica. Join hands with SAT Telecommunications Ltd and support our sportsmanship. Gold sponsorships at $20,000, silver at $10,000, and bronze at $5,000. Support local, support SAT Telecoms Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with SAT and come in and sign up for your digital internet connection today. The fastest broadband digital internet. Why settle for imitation when you can get a better choice? Choose from our 5 packages. We've got the warm-up package going at 256 kilobytes for $28.75. We've got the breezy package at 1.5 megabytes going at $57.50. We've got the Maverick package at 3 megabytes going at $69. We've got the Jet Stream package at 4 megabytes going at $126.50. And we've got the Warp Drive package at 6 megabytes going at $241.50. So come in today and join in hands with the family of SAT Telecoms Ltd and sign up for your fastest digital broadband internet service today.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. 63 teachers received their certificates of completion for an IT training course which was held for all Dominica teachers from the 9th to the 20th of July. Senior Planning Officer Mr. Ted Serra says he's certain that the students will be pleased with the information and skills the teachers have learned. Mr. Serra believes these skills can also be used for the teachers' personal use and hopes that they utilize what they have learned.
I am sure your students will look forward to what you have learned in the coming weeks, and our prayer is that we would begin to see some of the tools that you've used or been exposed to over those 2 weeks used in your classroom. The information and skills that you have acquired, I'm sure, is going to be useful for your personal and also professional development. In fact, ICTs are useful tools in the delivery of the curriculum and also in instruction. But to really reap the benefit of this 2 weeks experience, it is essential that you continue to explore those tools.
He believes that it is important that all students are familiarized with the IT resources that are provided in their classrooms. In order to do so, he says that the teachers need to be able to use the equipment also.
Moving forward, we should be exploring how we can use those tools to better reach our students, to better instruct them, and to be able to enhance learning in our classrooms. In fact, several conversations and studies that we've done with students indicate that they complain about the boredom and the lecture type method of delivery that they experience. And I challenge you, now that you've gone through this 2 weeks experience, to go out and begin to change your classroom. One, and secondly, change the experiences for your students. May they come out of your classrooms excited and looking forward to be able to use those tools that are available to you, first of all, and secondly, available to them.
Chief Education Officer Mr. Stevenson Hyacinth says that we need to be proud of our Dominican teachers. He mentioned that change is inevitable and that the teachers should implement changes in the classroom to get the results that they need.
Change is inevitable. And if we understand that, and within the classroom environment that we are part of, if something is not working, we can change it. That is the power you have as a teacher, to implement changes in the classroom so that you get the set of results that you really want. These are the results that you are looking for. And that is to ensure that every child succeeds.
The chief also mentioned that handsets should be allowed at the schools, however, they should be turned off during lessons.
Let students use their handsets in the classroom to teach, that is, to teach. Ministry has a policy on the use of cell phones. And the policy has never said that we are going to ban the internet. We have never said we're going to ban this instrument or device. We have always focused on the use of the cell phone. When you go to church and you hear cell phones go off, for who? Students, children, big adults, big people. And this is a real world. We cannot divorce what we are doing at our schools from what happens in our society and in the world. Let us be practical. We will be hypocritical if we do that.
Although the qualified process did not go as planned, Dominicans will have a reason to tune into their television sets during the staging of the London 2012 Olympic Games expected to commence this month. This is because sprinter Mr. Harrison George Ito, who resides in the United States of America but is the son of Dominican parents, of which one was born in Granville and the other in Lamplain, will be competing in the 400 meters. He was labeled the fastest 400-meter sprinter in Columbia University history, where he swept all 7 of the Ivy League Championship meets and ranked 15 internationally at the 2009 World Championships in Berlin. In 2007, the sprinter earned All-American honors at the NCAA Outdoor Championship, where he placed 3rd, and he is also the winner of Connie's Maniaty Awards. Marketing and media personnel representing the Dominica Olympic Committee, Mr. Darwin Telemack, says his role is to provide a national distribution of the outcome of the events and updates on Dominica's performance, among other tasks. He went on to give more details on Mr. Ito.
He was also a member of the team at the Beijing Games. He was in China, representing Dominica as well. And he went to the Pan Am Games as well, representing Dominica. So Harrison is no stranger to representing Dominica at the elite international level. And we are pleased that he's once again qualified to represent Dominica at the largest stage in the world. We also have a young lady, Luan Gabriel, who is in London at present, and she's the 2nd member of the team.
Mr. Telemack pointed out that Luan Gabriel was chosen to be part of the team based on gender equity, which was a request made by the DOC, where she may or may not choose to participate in the events but will experience what the Olympics is about. General Secretary of the Dominica Olympic Committee, Mr. Godwin Dorset, says although he is disappointed that out of about 15 athletes who attempted to qualify, only 1 made it through. However, he is of the hope that they will do better for the Brazil 2016 Olympics.
The Olympic Games, the bar has always been raised. Qualification level has always been higher. So we before used to bring unqualified athletes. Now we have to bring qualified athletes. Now swimming, well, that's another thing we need to discuss outside this meeting. And we need to develop the association so that they are more active, so that we could get, because a lot of money is coming from the FINA for swimming. And if swimming were on board, at least we would get 2 additional athletes, a male and a female, to attend the games.
The contingent will consist of the President of the DOC, Mr. Felix Wilson, General Secretary, Mr. Godwin Dorset, Acting Chef de Maison, Mr. Joel Hamilton, the 2 athletes, Mr. Ito and Ms. Gabriel, marketing and media personnel, Mr. Darwin Telemack. Both Mr. Ito and Ms. Gabriel are currently in the United Kingdom, and the rest of the contingent will join them shortly. Ms. Gabriel will be a banner bearer for the Games, who will be dressed in Dominica's national wear at the Wardriette, which is something out for. It is also expected that the President, His Excellency Nicholas J.O. Liverpool, and Mrs. Liverpool will be in London for the entire Olympic Games. In an effort to help journalists and others effectively use media to provide healthy critiques, a pre-festival workshop is being held where the participants will also use the opportunity to share their views about creative arts and literary work. This workshop is also to encourage participants to find new and exciting ways of contributing to audience awareness of a range of art forms, including visual arts, performance, literary works, and film. The workshop is being presented by Dr. Shyla Esprit, Assistant Professor of English Literature at Trinity Washington University.
I'm here as part of the Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair, and we run several pre-festival workshops. And a few weeks before the festival, the one I facilitate is called Reviewing the Creative Arts, and in this workshop we talk to members of the public and the press who are interested in writing or talking about in various medium how we see the arts and culture. So we're interested in responding to any type of event, show, music, calypso, carnivals, show, pageant that takes place in our culture.
Dr. Esprit says the workshop will also look into ways in which art and these events, in addition to other elements of our culture, can be used to develop the nation in positive ways.
In the workshop, I really try to focus on asking people to think about themselves and their audiences. So we learn about who are you writing for, what is this context that you're participating in, why do we want to talk about musical performances or calypsos or teenage pageant shows, for example, or even a new book or short story that comes out by a local author. I ask people to think about why does it matter for you to care about these things. That's the first question. The next question is, how do you respond, right? There's positive criticism, constructive criticism, and there's the kind of criticism that deters people from continuing to produce, and so we want to distinguish between those two kinds.
She added that they will also be looking into how to craft in terms of writing, speaking, and reading reviews in various media, as writing for a newspaper is not the same as writing for television or internet media or a blog. Dr. Esprit highlighted that the first session of the workshop was very informative and interactive, and the participants made meaningful contributions.
What I hope the participants will benefit from the most is a new confidence in being able to critique and comment positively or productively, I should say, on what's happening in our culture. And I also want people to come out looking for other things to participate in as a result of this new lens through which they can see events and art in our society. So I'm looking for people to be a little more excited about the festival itself, or going to an art show, or going to see someone's exhibit, or any performance or play, or asking or championing for people to create more of those so there are more things for us to review.
Dr. Esprit says that she hopes the participants will look outside the region and bring material home to Dominica so that the public will get the chance to experience the taste of various Caribbean culture.
I think there is a lot of improvement that can happen, and not necessarily to mean that they're not doing anything well. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of the Dominican media, but I also think there is a gap between how the kinds of conversations that are happening on international media, or the range and variety of conversations that are happening on international media, and what I see and observe is happening here. A lot of the focus is on development conversations, on political conversations, and not so much on the other types of generating ideas around less tangible or very, very immediate things. And I would like to see more of that in our media as reflected in other places.
The workshop was organized by the Nature Island Literary Festival Committee, which is free of charge. It commenced on Thursday, July 19th, will continue on Thursday, July 26th, and end on August 2nd. The workshop takes place from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Auditorium. And in agriculture, a week of activities have been dedicated to management of fruit fly infestation in Dominica. Fruit flies have been a problem in Dominica since 1989. As part of the activities, 2 experts from Suriname and Grenada are here to observe our management strategies for controlling the flies and to train extension farmers on trapping the pests. Ryan Ansem, head of Plant Quarantine Unit, says the flies have caused serious economic loss to our farmers because they cannot export fruits to the U.S. Virgin Islands and St. Thomas.
Part of technical assistance provided by USD IFIS a two-member expert from Mexico and the US visited Dominica last year to assess the fruit fly trapping program and also our management systems and strategy for the control of fruit fly. And this week, USDA provided two regional experts, one from Grenada, Paul Graham, and a very good expert in Suriname that has worked in fruit fly for a number of years, Miss Muller. She is head of the Carambola fruit fly program in Suriname.
They were able to train 30 farmers and all extension officers and give recommendations to improve the database for trapping lines and management of cultural and integrated pest management systems for fruit flies. Elise Van Ser Muller, head of Carambola fruit fly program in Suriname, says finding a Carambola fruit fly 20 years ago has taught her a lot about the insects.
We look at the traps that you have out in the field, and if they do the trapping on a correct way. There are some things that could be improved based on the experiences that I have in Suriname. And also we started collecting fruits. That is something that happened in Dominica more than 20 years ago, I think, in '88. They have done some fruit collections. But collecting fruit and rearing fruit flies out of these will give you a lot of information on the host of your fruit fly, whether you have other fruit flies around, and the importance of that host. Because we found in Suriname for our fruit flies that they would like one variety of mango, but they do not like the other one. So if you have that information, you could move to planting another one, unless the other one is not desirable by the public.
She says what people can do is pick up all the fruits in the fields and destroy them before it's left the field. You would then be rearing fruit flies.
People can do is to, if you have a lot of fruit flies with mangoes, fruit flies in your mangoes, for example, you would have to pick up all your fruits and destroy these. If you would leave them out in the field, you would be rearing fruit flies, because all the larvae in one fruit will move into the soil, they pupate, and after about 10 days, the flies would emerge and look for new fruits to infest. So you would like to break that life cycle.
Paul Graham, USDA aphis consultant, says every fruit fly trap in Dominica is supposed to be mapped and have a specific location so it can be determined if the distribution is right.
What was good in the case of Dominica is that we were able to meet with some farmers. We had some very fruitful discussions with them yesterday, because, as I said, very little suppression is done. So we essentially expose them to some practices they could get involved in that could ultimately reduce the amount of fruit flies on a specific farm. Every farmer has a number of activities that he or she could do to reduce the infestation.
He says the biggest problem in Dominica is the West Indian fruit fly, which attracts all plums, guavas, and mangoes. They inspected a trap line that ran all the way to Portsmouth with inspections of 19 to 20 traps.
I've always known that Dominicans don't like using pesticides a lot, and this is probably why people live so long here. So we had to expose them to a lot of cultural practices, like bagging fruits, which sometimes is not practical. But for some of your fruits, like you have the Asian guava, one could weigh 1/2 and 3/4 of a pound. You don't want to bag that because there is a market for it as a fresh fruit.
We now go to Ms. Deslyn Joseph for tonight's court news.
The man found guilty of killing Barbadian national Corey Polian has been sentenced to life in prison on Friday, July 20th. Webb turned and smiled to the reporters in court when he heard the sentence. Sherman Webb was arrested after confessing that he had buried a friend in the heights of Emzor to 3 police officers, and he led them to the burial place. During her sentences, Justice Brooks stated that Mr. Webb was not a ready candidate for rehabilitation. His attorney Peter Allian says he was not surprised with the sentence, as the judge had to send a clear message. On exiting the courtroom, a smiling Webb turned and said to the media personnel, "See you guys in the closed court." In more court news, Davison Carey of Portsmouth was charged with theft of goods stolen from a vehicle registered PR602 on 19th of June 2012. The items included an Apple MacBook,
laptop, a leather bag, laptop adapter, Apple earphones, iPod Nano, and other items including makeup, a groom kit belonging to Laura Well. The items came up to US $5,060.63. The indictable matter was adjourned to 4th October in Portsmouth. Mr. Carrier was remanded in custody.
Thank you, Deslin, for the court news. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.